this session now. As we know that our human body and mind and heart and the overall spirit, these are the four component of our as a person, as a human. The God has given these four things: our body, mind, heart, and spirit. So these component make us as an individual, as a human being, which is very special, not only for ourselves, but also for this planet Earth. So we are the only existence who have the higher level of spiritual and mental intelligence. So Stephen Covey made these four things as a four intelligences, and I will specifically focus only on spiritual intelligence, and we will try to find the solution from our find the solution of our problem through spiritual intelligence. Uh, but spiritual intelligence is a governing body, is a governing dimension which govern the mental intelligence, physical intelligence, and also social and emotional intelligence as well. So that specifically I'm going to discuss. Now, it does mean that what is the meaning of spirituality or spiritual? So it sounds sometimes is um, quite weird as well, that it is something which is related with demons, related with something which I can't see, or hypothetical level. It's describing something. So everybody has a different paradigm behind spirituality or spiritual, being a spiritual. When I say Jenny or Ifzal is a very spiritual person, what does it mean by? Or so let's try to figure out the meaning of that notion, the spiritual means. So if you can see the screen, uh, the Richard from the book Thinking with Your Soul, he's trying to describing what meaning of spirituality or spiritual. He's saying that by spiritual I mean the ancient and abiding human quest for connectedness with something larger and more trustworthy than our egos, with our own souls, with one another, with the world of history and nature, with the indivisible winds of the spirit, with the mystery of being alive. So, spiritual actually means is a opposite of the material or the physical world. Like I'm a physical being, yeah, but there will be or there may be a spiritual narrative as well. So, which is governing myself. So that spiritual is we are discussing today, and many people relate the spiritual with um, soul as well. Do you know what meaning of soul, and what does it mean by soul is behind on me? Or we often say my soul is not satisfied. I'm not. There is something guilty I'm feeling, or as when somebody died, then what happens? That person obviously is now dead, but many people believe that there was a soul which have taken out from the body, and now it's just a body, and his soul is somewhere else, and in the sky with the god or something. So that's obviously that is a traditional meaning of soul. Whether it's a reality or not, I'm going to describing the broader perspective of being a spiritual. So, like in this definition, the author is saying that the human is an ancient concept and reality which have been taught from thousands of years ago as well till today modern 2021 as well, that the spiritual means the human connectivity with something, with that larger dimension of, and we are connected with that dimension. Many people think that this larger trustworthy entity or being is also called God. And if we are unable to understand or see that God or see that outer or spiritual entity or being, the only problem is our ego is between myself and that spiritual entity or being is. So my ego is the main obstacle which is stopping myself to see the reality, because we cannot come out from us, so therefore we cannot feel spiritual beings beyond us. Even if I believe on God, I cannot feel God as well because my ego does not allow us. But these are the details which I will discuss in details in later, probably today or next Sunday. But I'm trying to give you a understanding what actually spiritual means is. So let's further uh, what the spiritual intelligence or spirituality does mean as well. So, if you, Jenny, if you can read it for us.
Unlike IQ, which computers have, and EQ, which exists in higher mammals, SQ is uniquely human and the most fundamental of the three. It is linked to humanity's need for meaning, an issue very much at the forefront of the people's minds. SQ is what we use to develop our longing and capacity for meaning, vision, and value. It allows us to dream and to strive. It underlies the things we believe in and the role our beliefs and values play in actions we take. It is essence what makes us human.
Yeah, absolutely. Do you think that what is the difference between we and birds or animals or non-living things? There could be many differences, but the mainly difference is our state of our mental approach to be, to feel being spiritual, that we are the only being on this planet who can criticize ourselves as well. Like I can criticize myself. So it means that that criticism, or if I am feeling a guilty for something which I did wrong, that sense of guilt is felt by or triggered by some outer power, and that power many people call it is my soul, or many people refer it as conscious. Many people call it God, or many people call it Allah, uh, because the God or something conscious which is beyond myself is controlling or giving me the feelings, whether I'm feeling a guilt or I'm feeling to be a arrogancy, and in the response of something. So these are and that becomes an intelligence. If my intelligence is enough enlightened, so I will give the meaning to my life, to my role. I will set the certain values. I will try to live my life values with some principle, which we call natural principles. I will try to live myself with higher agendas. and also greater determination, maintaining the self discipline, and try to build synergistic relationship with my family, with my colleagues, and try to be a very spiritual person. And because everything is being set for me, and that has been set by some supernatural or transcendent power beyond me, which I have the feeling of being spiritual intelligent. And that spiritual intelligence, like um, in the text which just Jenny has read, that SQ, which is represent the spiritual intelligence, is uniquely human and the most fundamental of the three. The other three are physical intelligence, mental intelligence, and social and emotional intelligence. So animals can be emotional. Animal can have mental intelligence as well. Some animals, some and also they do have physical intelligence, of course. What they are lack of, they are not having a spiritual intelligence, because it is very uniquely within the human being. So we have been designed for this intelligence. And if we want to be a happy and more live longer life as well, and fulfilling our um, roles and goals and tasks on a daily or weekly or monthly basis, then this intelligence must be higher and also be very, very equipped, fulfilled all the time. And we need to do regular input as well. So I will discuss also in details how we can do it, but at the moment I'm trying to just make you understand what the spiritual intelligence in reality. Yeah. So let's go further about another definition of being spiritual, according to William Bloom, uh, who wrote the very good book, The Endorphin Effect. And yeah, if you can read it for us, please.
In moments of powerful beauty, emotions move that can melt even the thickest and most cynical of skinks. Endorphins flow. There is a release of tension. Energies, internal and external, flow and connect. The experience is not only soft and calm, but it also contains the power and creativity of nature and the universe. To create and to work consciously with these moments of connected on us is to exercise what we might call our spiritual muscles and our spiritual intelligence. What do I mean by spiritual? I simply mean that the whole reality and dimension, which is bigger and more creative, more loving, more powerful, more visionary, more wise, more mysterious, the materialistic daily human existence. There is no theology or belief system that relates to this meaning of spiritual.
Yeah. So definitely it is directly linked with the meaning and purpose of our existence as well. But if we forgetting ourselves and we just believe that we are only a materialistic being, then that will give us sorrow, give us grief, give us the pain, and all the time um, in the grief mode. No matter if I will struggle so hard from the morning to the day, I will do lot of rituals, hardworking, going outside, meeting with people, uh, earning bread and butter, but I will still feel guilty and unhappiness because I think I'm a body, and I'm driven by my thoughts, which thoughts I learned from my society, right from my childhood, then to my adulthood, then school, college, then from my own experience. I have learned a lot of things. good or bad, and they are driving me. So actually, what happens? We are not on a driving seat of our life. We make our mind to drive for ourselves. We make our body to drive for ourselves, or we make our emotions to drive, sitting on the driving seat of the life. However, we must make our spiritual intelligence or our conscious sit on a driving seat of our life. That will give us the life full of happiness and full of that intelligence which govern other three dimensions as well: our emotions, our mind through brain, and our body directly. That's why the spiritual intelligence is so strong, that it governs, it controls the other three intelligences. And in this paragraph, the William Bloom, he is telling that this is something is more bigger and more creative as well. And because it gives the bigger picture of the whole life. And when you see the bigger picture of whole life, then your sorrow, your griefs, your pains start to minimize, and you become a controller, a proper controller of that thing. So we need to live the life with conscious, and that conscious we cannot see, but only we can feel, that we can, because that conscious lies outside of ourselves. It does not lie within myself, like my heart, like my brain, within my skull. But conscious does live outside of myself, making me a spiritual being and give me the true happiness, and also helping me to connect with my real purpose of life, real happiness, and also make me simple as well. You know, the more you will complex, the more away you will from spirituality, more complicated thoughts you will have, more materialistic knowledge of different subjects, like in medicine, in engineering, in sociology, in economics, complex structure and pattern, which a mind is trying to create from last couple of 100 years. More complexity, making the away from the fact that he or she is forgetting there is a conscious which is responsible to control the whole phenomena of their life. But because they are in a denial mode, they don't want to realize that that conscious needs to be followed. Therefore, we are we have the suicidal thoughts, we have a badly fatal diseases, we are in psychopathic type of paths in our life, we are constantly in depression, we have a very poor relationships because of being away from our real consciousness. And also because we don't know about our consciousness, therefore we cannot develop it. So this development of consciousness, which gives the different level 1, level 2, level 3, I will tell you in the next couple of slides how these are the levels of consciousness that will give us the spiritual intelligence on the next level and next level. And then we can control the all problems of our life, whether if it is related with my mental issues, my physical issues, maybe I'm overweight, maybe I have a cancer disease, maybe I'm about to have a heart attack, or I'm going to have a stroke in couple of weeks, or I have a low income, I have low poor finance, my relationships are very poor, I have I'm not controlling my emotions. These all problems will clutches you, and you will be stuck in them until you will die. And many people nowadays, they are unfortunately dying than their early than their standard lifetime. So life expectancy um, is reducing in many regions of the world as well, because of their lifestyle, because of also fact being away from the spiritual intelligence. So I will going to also discuss what Stephen Covey is saying. Dr. Stephen is also have a great thoughts about spiritual intelligence. Um, and if anybody can read as well, yes, Jenny, if you can read, please.
When the history of the world and of institutions, societies, communities, families, and individuals is finally written, the dominant theme will be the degree to which people have lived not only by their socialized conscience, but by their divine conscience. This is the innate intuitive wisdom contained in the principles or natural laws that are taught in all major religions and enduring philosophies of the world. It won't be geopolitics, economics, government, wars, social culture, art, education, or churches. The moral or spiritual dimension, how to people and institutions are to universal, timeless principles of right and wrong, will be the overarching and underlying supreme governing force.
Yes, thank you. Yeah, so he's very convinced. He was very convinced when he was live about the importance of spiritual intelligence. No matter I'm a very great doctor, no matter I have a very good body, very active body, no matter I have so much money, I'm a millionaire, and no matter if I have a big network of people, or great relationships as well, but all will be at risk if I still did not recognize my conscious. And because that conscious is some sort of your divine source, which will drive you permanently and according to certain principles and values as well. And that gives you the wisdom actually, and keep you to make a great contribution in the world. So that's how it is important. So I'm going to read one of a book from a great guru. He died couple of years ago as well, and he wrote a book, Letting Go, by Dr. Hawking, in which he stated in details how we can get inner purity, inner power, and we can surrender ourselves towards this conscious, so that we can keep away from the sorrows and griefs and pains of the world. And he gives a approach in this book, is a wonderful book. I took some of the paragraphs. We will read it and we'll try to understand it as well. So that's the whole teaching in the book. The Dr. Hawking is saying we must achieve that state of inner freedom through different things, and that state of inner freedom will actually give us the control to manage our relationships, our diseases, physical diseases, our financial issues, our spiritual issues as well, and to stay connected with higher purpose of the life as well. So, but he is mentioning about we must surrender our ego towards um, towards the challenges of the life. We must not resist for nothing. If we are going to resist and going to die, We must quit this resistance, isn't it? So if I'm going to resist myself against something which I'm facing, and my ego wants to live longer, my ego within the mind wants to learn some more knowledge, and my emotions wants to be have more endurance to cope in that in difficult situation. I won't be successful until I will work to have my inner state, which is my conscious location for many people as well, and that conscious which connect with my divine power, with some transcendent power as well, that gives me the spiritual intelligence. That surrenderness is the ultimate goal of my life, and that concept is often discussed by many spiritual gurus in mostly religions, like in Islam, like in Christianity, in Hindus, Buddhist, and also other Jews also they discuss about this fact as well. So this is a common heritage of being spiritual in mostly religion and other philosophies as well. And this is 100% a remedy, uh, a solution of the problem of people who wants to develop themselves in the industry of personal development, and they wants to connect with their goals, they wants to be stay connected, they want to be in a great relationships, they want to become financially independent, they want to have a very active body, they want to look after their family, spouses, children, um, and they want to work in great organization who have great moral values, connect as a mission with them as well. So that all is possible when we will start to live with our conscious life, not our mental life, based on our mental intelligence, not our physical intelligence, not based only on our emotional intelligence, but with power of spiritual intelligence, with support of all other three intelligence, that we can achieve the state of inner freedom, and that freedom will keep our diseases away from us. That inner freedom will make our mind uh, with more transparency, with more clarity of thought as well. And obviously, there are many other advantages as well. So, in this paragraph, we will learn through the spiritual intelligence, if we surrender ourselves, what possible benefit we are going to get it. So, that is a powerful paragraph. Or after this paragraph there are two three paragraphs as well. We will really enjoy the lines which Dr. Hawking is trying to share with us. So if you can read it, please.
Sahad or Moataz, do you guys want to read by any chance? If you want to, I don't want to hog it.
Yeah.
So
um,
go ahead. All right. In the surrendered state, we are independent of the outer world as a source of satisfaction because the source of happiness has been found within us. Happiness is shared with others so that in relationships, the surrendered person is supportive, sympathetic, encouraging, patient, and tolerant. There is an effortless appreciation of the worth and values of others and a consideration for their feelings. Power struggles being right and proving our point have been relinquished. There is an automatic non judgmental attitude in the supporting of others to grow, learn, experience, and fulfill their own potentialities. There is an easygoing, nurturing acceptance of others. We feel relaxed, vibrant, and full of energy. Life events flow automatically and effortlessly. We no longer respond from a motive of sacrifice or giving up something for others. Instead, we see ourselves as being of loving service to others and to the world. Life events are seen as opportunities rather than challenges. The personality is gentle and open with a willingness to let go and surrender nonstop because of the unfolding and on inner process of continuous revelation.
Yeah, absolutely. So these revelations are coming from our inside, uh, and which empowered by some external source we call soul, we call connected consciousness, we call God or Allah, or anything if it belongs to. So I am asking the my audience, do you think that you can be in state of this inner freedom? And if you could, in any past of your life, or if you are experiencing the inner freedom now, so you can share your personal experience with us. Um, Before I go to the next slide, anybody, if or if you know anyone from the reliable source, so you can share their story as well. When they did have a inner freedom, when they did surrender their life with a higher purpose, and what possibilities of happiness they did. So you can free to comment on this before I go to the next slide.
Okay. Can I ask you what does it mean by inner freedom?
Yeah, the inner freedom is referring here that we have we have been clutches and controlled by our inner desire, our ego, to do something um, away from our principles or values. That inner freedom, we don't have to keep them away from ourselves. And therefore, these inner problem, that inner problem is maybe connected with my random or negative thoughts, maybe my sluggish body, maybe with my negative feelings or negative emotions in my heart. So, inner freedom is referring that you can be um, get rid of these inner problem, and you will have a freedom to be in state of consciousness where you will surrender yourself to the consciousness, and you will get the opportunity of availing lot of great things, like in paragraph is saying you will get happiness because you will have a courage to keep away the sorrows and grief out of your heart or out of your mind as well. So you know what is right and you need to follow the right because you are guided by your conscious. So that state of inner freedom we must achieve by surrendering our wishes, by surrendering our ego, by surrendering our agenda and motive and daily motives as well, which are mostly negative. I believe we do have. So that
Okay.
it means we must achieve that state of inner freedom.
Okay. Okay. Thank you.
Madam, can I say something?
Yes, yes, Mr. Ifzal.
Um, I just would like to say, I'm not preaching the religion, or I am not specifically, going towards Islam, but whatever I have experienced, I just would like to share with the other people, if it's the okay. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. So I have just seen the people who call the Sufis are the saints. When they surrender themselves in front of the God, and they get the maximum inner peace on that level when they surrender everything. So how they can get the, they look everything on the positive sides. How they look on the positive side? If they are getting ill, so they think at the moment, if I am ill, so they don't start complaining, they don't start whinging. They're saying, if I am ill in this time, so it's the best for me. My God, my Allah, if he would like to keep me in that state, so I am okay. If they have no money, so they are still happy, and they think, okay, at the moment, maybe from the last 10 years, I have used so much money, and for this short time of the period, for the short interval of the time, if I have no money, so what? So I will do the patience. I will do I will look at the positive side. If I don't have the money, so I will wait for the better time. But they don't complain, they don't whinge, and they don't look at the negative side. Whatever situation they are, they always taking out the positive effect of what situation they are. So I
Yeah,
think, yeah, they surrender themselves in front of the God. So they get the, like, inner peace of on the maximum level.
absolutely, absolutely. This is a great interpretation what we are trying to understand here. But it is important to note that it is not only practiced in religions, in Christian, in Buddhist, in Islam, in other philosophy like Buddhist philosophy, Chinese philosophy, Zen Buddhism in Japan as well, but also people even who don't believe on God for some reason, they also, if they come to know there is a conscious which is controlling myself, they still can be in a happy state. And eventually this journey will lead them to meet their God or their personal God. So uh, this concept is not only the religious phenomena or the religious traditional thing, but also for all humanity as well. Like many business entrepreneurs, uh, founders of big brands in the world, they are connected with their conscious realization in any of the level, and they are consistent working on this on a daily basis. So because they believe that this spiritual intelligence, they must needs to meet on a daily basis so that they can serve the people and they can earn more money, they can uh, be contributor in the society as well. So this spiritual intelligence is a great motivation for all people, even the religious people or the non-religious people. But the main thing is, my purpose is here, if anyone is a religious person, that's fantastic. That sort of things will be reminder for them. But if any person wants to see that beyond the religious perspective, that's also fantastic. The main thing is sincerity. If anybody is sincere and is a truth lover, reality seeker, or ultimate reality seeker, eventually he or she will get to the ultimate truth of this subject as well, which is a spiritual intelligence. Like Stephen Covey has said, or many leadership gurus are many focusing on this thing as well. So. Um, So there are actually three levels of consciousness. Just we are in the last section of our today's presentation, and that last section is, if anybody familiar with Dr. Deepak Chopra, he's a great so, so he's a great leader, a spiritual leader, and he wrote a book on spiritual solution, um, and in which he described three levels of consciousness. And he said, every problem we face in our life have three levels, and one level after other level, if we go on a third level, we will eliminate that problem completely from our life, and we will be very spiritually sounded, and we will not have any grief or sorrow or pain in our life. So that I'm going to just introduction of these three levels, and then I will close this discussion. Yeah. So the level number one is contracted awareness. And what does it mean by this? Is the level of problems, obstacles, and struggle. Answers are limited. Fear contributes to a sense of confusion and conflict in this level of awareness. Efforts to reach a solution meets with frustration. You keep doing more what didn't work in the first place. If you remain at this level, you will be frustrated and exhausted. So this is the first level which mostly all people have. They become sad, they become frustrated, they are go in depression, they start to use maybe drugs or alcohol, or uh, uh, or they are very frustrated, they are very in struggling mode. So this is called contracted awareness. Yeah. So, and we have to come out from this level to the next level, and that next level is called expanded awareness. That's the level number two. And in this level number two, Dr. Deepak Chopra is saying this is the level where solution begins to appear. There is less struggle. Obstacles are easier to overcome. I mean, you will have obstacles, you will have problem, but you can overcome in this level, no problem. Your vision extend beyond the conflict, giving you more clarity. Yeah. So more you will experience the conflict, more clarity you will have. And it happens in many people's life when they are in difficult situation, they learn something new. They becomes more clear for their rest of the life. So they assume themselves that they are on level 2 consciousness or awareness. They also say the negative energies are confronted realistically with greater expansion. Unseen forces come to your aid. So now you start to feel that some unseen forces are going to give you support and stuff. And obviously, that's more like little spiritual you are start to feel. You move forward according to what you desire from your life. So this is the level 2, which is a expanded awareness. And the next level is when you will completely out of problems, which is called expanded awareness. This is the level where no problem exists. Every challenge is a creative opportunity. You feel completely aligned with the forces of nature. That forces of nature means your consciousness, which is outside of yourself. Maybe you call it soul, maybe you call it God, maybe you call it Allah, or maybe you call any name to this. Yeah. Inner and outer world reflect each other without confusion or conflict. So more windows of your mind, the closed doors in your mind start to open, because solution arise from the level of the true self. So you are going to recognize and identify your true self. I mean, before you used to know my fake self, who I am. That's my fake identity. I I had perceived within my mind about myself. But in this level of awareness, I now start to know who I am in a truly way. They meet no resistance. They will surrender. Like in last paragraph, we also learned all your desire lead to the result that is the best for you and for your surroundings. So that's the level number 3, and you needs to strive for this level. Obviously, there is a science how you cannot go on this level. I, I will tell you in details in coming episodes, next Sundays. But that's a general overview I just wanted to give you. So as you move from level 1 to level 3, so Dr. Deepak Chopra is saying the life challenges become what they are meant to be, a step closer to your true self. So more you will be in a reality, more you will know yourself, and more you know yourself, you start to connect it with your consciousness or your God or your Allah. So, and that you don't have to bound for any religion or any typical school of thought as well. This is the open awareness for everyone. That's why I start this series for everyone. So this, and we will try to find our problem of the solution with the power of spiritual intelligence, and um, and that will govern our life from now to onward if we are really try to be practical in our life. So that's an overview of mental intelligence, sorry, the spiritual intelligence in this regard. So I have I had few paragraphs as well, but due to the constraint of time, I have leave them. Um, so maybe I will include them in the next uh, episode. So till that, if you have any question, please share with us. Ask me, and before I close this session for today.
You know, I took a few notes, Maratib, that kind of spoke to me about the class today. And you said about the psychopathic parts in our life, that we have those. And I was thinking about how that's our self-centered justification, where if you want to
Yeah.
do something and you start with your conscience, if you're arguing with your conscience and starting to justify why you should do something that's not good for you or sinful, and you start coming up with these reasons why it would be a good idea or okay for you to do it, even though typically it would be wrong. I think that that's what separates us, because when we start asking or saying why we should do it, that's probably why we shouldn't do it.
Yeah. So absolutely, it does refer us to. I mean, it's our inner voice within myself or with everyone, which gives us this is not right and this is right, this
Mhm.
is wrong. So that right and wrong, even you haven't learned from society, still that will be a conscious voice lies in every individual on this planet.
Mhm.
Whether so that even like you are referring the person with psychopath or psychotic type of nature, if somebody has, or the observer of that psychotic person, they will have definitely this spiritual intelligence. That depends whether you have realized it and name it as a spiritual person or spirituality, or whether you don't know. That will still lie in you. So the beauty behind this concept or this immense enlightenment or this idea or this truth, which I would say that this truth, that whether you believe it or not, it will still with you. So it will still lie in your sight and give you the freedom. If you want, if once you will realize it, once you will feel it and surrender your ego for it, then you will start to away and you before you will have a level 1, and then you will go to level 2 and level 3. And that was just a brief overview of levels. There are so many other levels as well, how you will go and go above, and will be on a very very higher level of being a human person. So there are levels of human persons, human beings as well. Like all human beings are not equal. They are equal on on a conscious level, yes, but once you start to realize your level to other human beings are going superior and superior, in the way that you are more realizing about truth, and the other person who does not know, or who does not have this awareness as well, that will be remain in ego problem or egoistic issues. So that's a difference between two type of things. But you are quite right about uh, that inner voice or of right and wrong is naturally in everyone, whether they name it, it's due to spiritual intelligence, or they cannot name it. Just like mostly scientists, mostly philosophers, uh, f- um, and mostly rationalists and modern people, they don't name it they because once they start to name it, then they have to believe on it. But their ego or their egoistic character does not allow them to go more inside. But this truth has to be open for everyone, and it is open for everyone. It's entirely up to you that how you are courageous to follow this truth and keep your life very smoother, very simple, and very happier.
Yeah, like too that you
So
said the ego is what's between yourself and God.
yeah,
And that you can't feel God if your ego doesn't allow it. And that's
that's
true
right.
because you don't want to feel God if your ego's there because you're trying to pick something more desirable to the worldly as opposed to the spiritually, which can supersede your
Yeah,
ability, with your right and wrong justification. So
absolutely.
very
So
interesting.
they are opposite of each other. So if you have an ego of any level inside you, then you will connect with your conscious on any level that depend of the level of ego you have. If you want to really follow what your conscious is guiding you or will control you, then you have to kick your ego away from your life, and you need to surrender to letting it go what to in front of your higher level, higher agenda which you have realized, higher consciousness which you have realized. So that's you will come out of all problems of your. So that is one of the great method how you can come out of your life fundamental problems through spiritual intelligence, and that is basically my overview of today's class, that we will discuss these things in detail in coming weeks um, of this. That was just an introduction. So obviously, if you have any question or thoughts or comments, I would say that you can write it down, and you will be answered yourself in coming few weeks as well, and that will be a life changing series uh, for everyone who is watching. I believe so. I will try to make it more simple and more conclusive as well, not too subjective, but objectively we can learn the things and can lead our life uh, out of uh, out of the problems which we are facing and at the moment. So that's my approach at the moment. But let's see how we will see the same thing in a different way in details in the next Sunday. So thank you very much.